Thanks for staying with In Your Interest. Our second segment is about weight loss in a syringe, but we're trying to decode at what cost. India seems to be waking up to this dangerous trend where we're trying to use prescription drugs that are being treated like quick fix shortcuts. Let's tell you all about it. These have been marketed as a miracle, a quick fix for weight loss that seemed too good to be true. Now the government is making it clear that the easy way out comes with a dangerous price. The government has launched a major crackdown on weight loss and diabetes drugs that are being sold without proper medical supervision. In 2026, this year, cheap versions of these GLP-1 drugs flooded the market, leading to widespread misuse. Now, authorities have inspected 49 shops, online sellers, clinics across the country, and the government has made it clear that weight loss and diabetes drugs can only be given on a doctor's prescription. It has banned misleading advertisements that promise easy weight loss. Shops and clinics that break the rules can lose their licenses once and for all. They can face heavy fines, even legal action. And the government is warning people about the serious health dangers of using these drugs without a doctor's supervision. These medicines are not allowed to be sold over the counter or used on their own. The problem is the rise of cheap versions of these drugs being sold without a doctor's oversight. While these medications are life-changing for those with chronic conditions, they are now being treated like over-the-counter OTC supplements for cosmetic weight loss. And that's a big no-no. The reality is far grimmer. Without a prescription, users are facing severe side effects including intense nausea, gallbladder failure, and even pancreatitis. Many people also regain weight and face new health complications after they stop taking these drugs. And this is not just about regulation, it's about stopping a public health crisis before it spirals on further. No country in the world, mind you, allows these drugs to be sold over the counter. The United States has cracked down on illegal online sales and compounded versions. Europe and the United Kingdom require a doctor's prescription and have banned misleading advertisements. Australia has put strict rules and safety warnings in place. India has the same rules, but enforcement has been much weaker until now. And with this nationwide inspection and strict warning, the government wants to stop the misuse of these powerful drugs and protect the public health. The big questions that we're trying to understand: will the government's crackdown be strong enough to stop the illegal sale of these drugs online and in the shops, the clinics, the online sellers? Why has enforcement of these rules been so weak in India compared to other countries? Should doctors and clinics face stricter punishment for selling these drugs without proper checks? And many more. With us on the broadcast, Professor Y.K. Gupta, National Scientific Advisor, PVPI and President AIMS Kalyani, and Padma Shri Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairman Nephron Clinic, with us on the broadcast. Dr. Bagai, let's get the snowball rolling here. Weight loss drugs for a quick cosmetic fix. They're being treated like shortcuts, but medically, tell the viewers, let's create that healthy amount of panic. How dangerous is it to take these GLP-1 drugs without supervision? We're seeing young, healthy people using these drugs for cosmetic weight loss just because they want to look good, some sort of social media validation. We're creating this silent health crisis just in the name of looking fit and good.
Good evening. I think there is a huge rider towards these medications. So let me explain why.
Yeah.
This has become like a sunshine boy in everyone's lips. It's become a coffee table discussion. It's become a social discussion. There are people who look Ozempic. They look Manjaro. They are the new poster boys. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are socialites, they look that. Many of them have endorsed it, including some tennis stars in US. So these drugs are specifically to be used under medical supervision with a valid medical prescription. It means there should be no repeat prescriptions without a validity of a date. Point number two, the most unregulated and unsupervised segment is the pharma segment in India in terms of chemists and pharmacies. A lot of them don't give bills. A lot of them are giving hand pills, which are illegal invoices.
Yep.
A lot of them are giving medications which are scheduled drugs, which are not over-the-counter prescribing drugs. And it doesn't only limit itself to GLP-1 RA or GIP, but there are many other medications which are given because the family is known to them. Online prescriptions with the online sales of these medicines also should be restricted. These medicines have serious side effects. It also causes, the most important thing is hypoglycemia. It was originally designed for treating type 2 diabetes. Because a patient does not have diabetes and is using this, you can suddenly crash your blood sugars, which is not a good sign at all.
Yep.
Next is, it's still early days of this drug being used all over the world. You can have serious side effects of pancreatitis,
Yep.
of medullary carcinoma, of, that means cancer of the thyroid. It causes sarcopenia, that means acute muscle loss, which can also cause muscle loss of the heart function.
Wow.
It can cause sudden shallowing or hollow of the cheeks of your face. They look abnormal. And more importantly, it has various other metabolic abnormalities which can step in. So I think there is a word of caution.
Yep,
It has to be
yep.
supervised. It has to be medically monitored by a qualified, preferably an endocrinologist itself. I don't want GPs running amok and using this because they're a qualified doctor. I think it should be through a proper qualified doctor who's accustomed to treating these patients of these conditions. I do not expect a ENT person to be operating in the cardiovascular thoracic OT. Likewise, I don't want GPs to be prescribing this left, right, and center. I don't want people using this cosmetically for a particular function or a wedding. I don't want people to be using this only to look slim. This
Absolutely.
has side effects. A lot of the weight gain,
that's the kind of awareness we need. That's the kind of awareness we need, doctor. Many thanks for hitting the nail on the head when I was talking about that healthy amount of panic that needs to go out in society. You know, Professor Y.K. Gupta, you know, these are Schedule H drugs, yet they're easily available without prescriptions. Where is the breakdown essentially, sir, from where you're looking at it? Those are all moot points that, Dr. Bagai has spoken about. Is it the pharmacies? Is it the online platforms? Is it the enforcement? Where are we losing out, sir?
I think Dr. Bagai has mentioned very, very rightly all the silent points. I will just mention 2-3 points.
Okay.
This glucagon-like peptide 1, which is also called as a GLP-1, are a very important development in disease of diabetes and obesity. However, because of they are so effective, the people have started using these GLP agonists, maybe semaglutide, liraglutide, tirzepatide, and deglutide and exenatide. These are the drugs which are available in the market. People have started using the lady which is fat, girl which is fat, person, boy which is obese, for cosmetic purpose, and the good they started using it without consultation of a doctor. Now, it has been specifically mentioned that these should be prescribed only by endocrinologist. It can be prescribed by cardiologist. It can be prescribed by internal medicine and not by others. The reason being that there is a possibility of misuse, and though ordinarily this has a limited side effect, but the limited use also indicates that the possibility of rare but very serious side effect exists, which involve pancreas 1, pancreatitis, even pancreatic cancer, which has been mentioned in the booklet. And it is, as mentioned by by my fellow colleague, by thyroid cancer, it can also cause kidney injury, and particularly in elderly. Gallbladder disease is one of the important complications which can happen, the gastric paralysis. How many patients may develop or will develop retinal complication, particularly retinopathy, diabetic retinopathy is a complication of diabetes. Now, in such cases, the retinal complication also have been shown to be increased in this. Now, in addition, because they are peptide in nature, their potential of immunogenicity exists. And therefore, and of course, the complete muscle loss, and that's why the muscle loss is starting from face, and that's why you call it Ozempic phase, somebody saw it as a XYZ phase. And these are the things which will happen. And the most important thing is we do not know after how many days of continuous treatment and after how many days of stopping treatment, new side effect will appear. Therefore, it is not the legal and it is not the only the enforcement which will work. It is enforcement, effective enforcement, but also effective awareness.
You're absolutely right. And I think, which is why both of you, Professor and Doctor, you're doing God's work, not just in your clinics and in the operation theaters. Many thanks for taking out the time, joining us here and doing God's work here in terms of that awareness. Dr. Bagai, you know, we hear terms like pancreatitis that you mentioned, Ozempic phase that Professor was just talking about. How serious and irreversible can these side effects actually get? And if someone watching this is considering GLP for a quick fix for weight loss, what are some of the non-negotiables before even thinking about taking these drugs, Doctor?
I think the most important thing in medicine, which is non-negotiable, is don't lose common sense. Don't lose the fact that we have to follow evidence-based medicine. Don't lose the fact that a short-term gain for long-term complications is never a good idea. Don't lose fact that trying to look good for a month and then suffering from long-term complications, like my co-colleague mentioned, optic neuropathy or optic neuritis is a well-known fact in documented. Pancreatitis is another. A lot of the patients who I want to mention, almost 30 to 40% of them have regained their weight after 6 months of stopping this medicine. This medicine should not be as an alternative towards healthy lifestyle. If you are not going to exercise, you will persist to remain fat. If you are not going to have physical activity and follow sedentary lifestyle, you are going to have a host of complications. This cannot replace proper lifestyle modification. This full fact which has been developed in the medical literature also, it is now being used for depression, for anxiety, for alcoholic addiction, for liver disease. Those are restricted use again under medical supervision. This huge haze and this fantasy which has been created in this must come into proper preview. Again, I repeat, valid prescription date-wise through a qualified endocrinologist. I dare say just being an MBBS doctor is not good enough to prescribe these medicines because the follow-up of these patients is pretty specific and precise.
Yep. Professor, Dr. Bagai is talking about valid prescription, but let's be honest, many chemists sell without prescriptions because, well, purely customers demand it. And do you think it's profit that's pressurizing this overriding of patient safety? They say you bypass your doctor, you bypass your own safety. And globally, these drugs are tightly controlled, but in India, access is so easy, it almost seems casual. What are some structural gaps that we must fix at the moment? What are some practical steps that the government can now do to curb these GLP drugs so that India does not face another public health disaster that's in the making?
I think the number one is, as this through your TV show, public awareness is one of the most important things. Pressure from public must not be there.
Yep.
The misleading advertisement must be stopped, whatever misleading, because the plenty of misleading advertisement about in the backdrop of reducing obesity, and then that should not be there. The strict compliance enforcement, punish ruthlessly those who are selling this drug online, punish ruthlessly those pharmacies who just selling without prescription of a cardiologist, endocrinologist, and a specialist in internal medicine. What I am not saying, even without prescription, to hona hi nahi chahiye. That is important. I think it should. You have seen the antibiotic resistance is a pandemic now, and I don't want that this useful drug otherwise should also create an epidemic or pandemic of so many complications. You will find people blind. And after taking this drug, this may happen if they take this indiscriminate use.
Absolutely.
So A, the awareness, B, strict enforcement, and C, no prescription by online, no prescription in pharmacy, no dispensing in pharmacy. And I think in slimming clinic particularly, and in outside gyms particularly, which are the vulnerable sensitive areas, there should be inspection or maybe surprise inspection. And misleading advertisement is going to happen. Must stop it.
Absolutely. I think we'll leave it there. Again, many thanks for taking on the time and doing the God's work outside the clinics as well, Professor Gupta, Dr. Bagai. We've said it time and again. The government is on with its crackdown. The government has put out a warning, and I think it's high time the public starts hearing. We're doing our little bit, and many thanks for taking on the time for that. This could be a health crisis in the making. I'm saying it again. Bypassing the doctor is like bypassing your own safety. Why would you want to do that? Because no body transformation is worth risking your own life. This is not a shortcut. It's a prescription. You need it. It has to be valid, and it must stay that way. Before you consider taking GLPs for a quick fix so that you can look good at a festive event or a wedding, well, think again. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of In Your Interest. We're going to see you again tomorrow. Many thanks for watching.
Skoda Kushaq. Easy to love. Skoda.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
The United Kingdom is hosting a virtual meeting of 35 nations today to discuss the reopening of the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz handles 1/5 of global oil and liquefied natural gas, or LNG, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer has cautioned that reopening, which focuses on diplomacy for safe passage, will be difficult. The meeting will assess all viable diplomatic and political